We're gonna get started on our first dish, and I was trying to think about some cleansing dishes, and I came up with this one, and it's so tasty and so good. It is a coconut and almond crusted cauliflower, and then we're gonna make a red pepper curry dipping sauce, and it is fabulous. So cauliflower is really great because it's actually part of the cruciferous vegetable family, and that's things like broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, so super, super good for you. And red peppers have a tremendous amount of vitamin C. They actually have 3 times as much vitamin C as an orange. So eat your red peppers if you feel like you need more vitamin C. And we're going to show you how to do that. So to start, I'm going to take a cup of flour and get a nice big bowl like this. Get a cup of flour. This is a cup of almond milk, a cup of water, and then a teaspoon of garlic powder and a teaspoon of salt. And that's just so the batter has a little bit of flavor. Okay, now whisk that together. And you're trying to look for a batter that's not too thin and not too thick either. Again, we don't want it to be like runny, but we want to make sure that it has a little bit of substance so that coconut will stick to it. But we don't want this to be like coated in, batter either per se. So that's like a pretty good texture right there. That looks perfect. All right, we're gonna set that aside. And your oven should be heated to 425 degrees right now. And now let's get this food processor over here. And we're gonna take, this is just a cup of raw almonds. They're not toasted, they're not salted, nothing's been done to them, they're just raw almonds. And you can actually, if you have bulk bins at your grocery store, get a cup of raw almonds for about $2 or $3. So this does not have to be expensive. So we put those in the food processor, and now we're just gonna process them until they're kind of like a powdery crumble. All right, that's perfect. So we're looking for this like almond crumbly texture. So you want to have a little bit of crunch in there still. And I'm gonna put this in a bowl. So that's 1 cup of raw almonds. Okay, it almost made like an almond flour. And now this is 1 cup of dried shredded coconut. No sweetener has been added to that. And I'm just gonna toss it with my hands. Okay, and now either put this in a big bowl, or I have this kind of dish here that has these sides on it, so that'll contain it. And I'm just gonna put about half in it first. I'll make sure it's spread around. So this will be nice, so when we put our pieces of cauliflower in, it'll lay flat and they'll be able to get coated. And I'm just gonna save this for when we run out and need a little bit more. So I'll put that aside. I'll put that aside, and now we're going to cut the cauliflower. So I would say the best way to tackle this is to find one of these big segments and pull that apart. And what we're trying to do is keep the pieces relatively big but thin. So they're almost like cauliflower steaks, you could call them. So this piece here, I'm gonna start at the top at the stem and cut it, and just watch your fingers. But you can see it's almost like cutting a slice of bread. So we're just kind of making this piece of cauliflower that's like about a ½ an inch to an inch thick. And if you go right through that stem, you'll see that it holds everything together. So this is perfect. And we're going to do that with the rest of the head of cauliflower. We finished cutting the cauliflower into big pieces, and so now we're gonna get the batter on them and get those in the oven. So I'm gonna start with some of our great big pieces first. These look really good. And try and use 1 hand for wet ingredients and 1 hand for dry ingredients if you can remember to do that. It makes things a lot easier. So we're just gonna dip that piece in our batter and shake it off pretty good. You wanna try and get as much of that excess off as possible, or else it'll just kind of pool around and make everything really wet. Okay, once that's ready, lay it down in your coconut and almonds. And you can see, ooh, that looks pretty good. You can throw some on the top there, throw some on the sides, shake it off. And we'll lay that right down on a tray to go into the oven. And just keep doing this, and you'll be surprised actually at how many pieces this makes, so you may need a second tray. We're gonna finish doing this with all the cauliflower and then put it in that 425-degree oven for 23 minutes. All right, so they are in the oven for 23 minutes, basically between 20 to 25 minutes, but I found that 23 is like the perfect point for when they turn a nice golden brown. So while they are cooking, we're gonna get started on our sauce. And this is so easy, throwing a bunch of stuff in the food processor. So we're gonna start with 2 whole roasted red peppers. And this is a half a cup of coconut milk, 1 clove of garlic, a teaspoon of curry powder or an Indian blend that you like. And this is 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and then just a pinch of salt, and we're gonna blend all of that up, and that's it for the sauce. This is a really easy one. Ooh, that is a really pretty color. Woo, look at that, nice orangey red color, I love it. And we're gonna wait for our cauliflower to finish up, and we will be ready to serve. So now I am just cutting some cilantro to use as a garnish on our absolutely gorgeous coconut and almond crusted cauliflower. Look at this, does that not look amazing? And you guys, it smells so good too. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little cilantro on top. That'll make it look a little pretty when you serve it. And this is our delicious red pepper curry sauce. We'll put that right there. Here it is, guys, our completed dish. I cannot wait to eat this, and I know you are gonna love it. A coconut and almond crusted cauliflower with a red pepper curry dipping sauce.